Okay, hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is going to be the first video that I have uploaded in 2018, so happy new year. I hope you all had the most amazing Christmas and new year. I'm sorry I've been a little bit MIA on social media and YouTube over the last couple of days and weeks, but I feel like throughout December I just kind of bombarded you with videos. So I'm here today with a very casual, very laid back, I mean just look at the state of my hair, like this is a very casual video of talking through my 2017 and setting some resolutions for 2018, because although these might not be the most watched videos on YouTube, I always really enjoy making these because it gives me something to watch back at the end of the year and reflect on, like, if I've achieved the goals I set myself, and just like remember the year before as well, because so many things are easy to forget once you start a new year and you like focus on starting a new chapter. I wanted to like talk about my 2017 a little bit because on the whole it was really good, and it has had some of the best moments ever in it. It's definitely been like up and down, but probably some of the best moments ever in my life have been this year. So yeah, I just wanted to talk through it a little bit. I have seen a couple of other videos floating around like this, so I don't really know where I'm heading with this one, but I did just want to set myself some resolutions, or not resolutions, just like goals, things I would like to achieve in 2018, but also like reflect on the ones I set myself last year. So the main one I set myself last year was to pass my driving test. Now I actually achieved this in July, I think it was July the 12th I passed my driving test. So I have been driving for 6 months now ish, and I'm really happy that I did that. That was like my main target and I did it, and I'm really proud of the fact that I did that completely on my own. Like obviously I know you can't get help doing driving lessons, but like I funded that on my own. Like I didn't get help of anybody like to pay for it and all of that stuff, so like I don't know, it's just the first big thing that I've ever achieved completely by myself, and I'm really happy that I did. And because of that, my main target for 2018 is to buy my own car. I was actually really lucky when I passed. My mum has recently got a new car, so she still had her old one and they had kept that for me. But my target for this year is to buy my own car that actually belongs to me. Just because my car that I drive is really old, there's nothing actually wrong with it, but I just want a new car that is like my own. So that is my main target for 2018. I know that sounds really weird, but like that is such a big thing. Like, I don't know, to own your own car, like I just really want to achieve that this year, so hopefully I'll be able to do that at some point. The second thing that I set myself the target of last year was, I think, 100,000 subscribers. Definitely didn't get there, but I'm thinking maybe in 2018, because we're just over 20,000 subscribers away. I'm about to hit 80,000 subscribers, and I'm gonna really make the effort this year. I say this every single January, I'm like, this year is the year that I like give my all to YouTube, but I genuinely mean that, especially towards the end of last year with Vlogmas. I did like lapse a little bit on the admin side of it, and I'm quite bad at replying to emails and stuff like that, but this year I really want to up my game because I know that I can do it. I just need to prioritize my time more, so that definitely needs to be something that I focus on, because I physically have enough time, I just don't prioritize it right all of the time. So hopefully 2018 I'm gonna get my organisation in check. I've said that every year since like 2015, it probably won't happen, but... So I think another one of the goals I set myself in 2017, at the beginning of the year, I sat down and I said, I want to make more decisions for me that make me happy. And I remember saying in the video, like, I don't mean this to sound really selfish, it's just a lot of the time I find it difficult to put myself before other people, which a lot of people probably disagree with. I feel like I did achieve that. I think towards the beginning of the year, I was very set on like, oh, I'll just do this because other people are doing it and they seem to enjoy it and I'll do it. And I'm gonna be specific because like I don't mean it like in a weird way, I just mean it like a lot of the time at sixth form I would find myself quite unhappy because I don't really like going to sixth form. It's not the same kind of atmosphere that it was in high school, and to be honest I'm just quite excited to leave education full stop, because I don't like, oh that was very Yorkshire, I don't like the vibe and the negativity, and like I just feel like it's so easy to just get caught up in that. And when I was in year 12 I went into sixth form for the full day, every single day. I just went and I sat in there and I spent my few periods in there, and then I was like, well, why do I not feel happy all the time? What is getting me down? And I was like, why do I feel so rubbish when I'm at school and I don't even need to be there? So when I started when I started year 13, I said to myself, I'm not going to go into my free periods as often because it doesn't make me feel that happy, and anything that I can do to make myself feel like better, I'm gonna start doing it more. So I started doing that. So obviously that was like September, October time, and you've probably noticed if you watch my weekly vlogs, I do spend a heck of a lot of time at home or other places, but I really enjoy that because that allows me to do YouTube more, which obviously a lot of you guys might be like, oh well, you need to prioritize your schoolwork, and I do. I'm always in my lessons, I always get things done, but being at home and using those free periods for either schoolwork or YouTube instead of just sitting around in school has not only helped me be more efficient, but has also helped my like mental state, if you know what I mean. So a massive change I have noticed from 2017 to 2018 is not a massive change in friends, but the people I started 2017 with, I haven't left with all of them. But I feel like happier now because all of the people that I'm surrounded with are like true friends, like actual friends that I know like have my back, that kind of thing. I feel like at the moment I have like a really close group of friends that I like trust and hopefully would trust me back in return. I've started 2018 with a better circle of people, and probably the best circle of people that I can, whether they're on YouTube or in real life. I feel like it's just gonna be a good year. I started out with like a nice group of friends around me, and I'm excited to see what 2018 brings, because obviously this year is going to be massive for me and my friendship group, because we are now in our last year of school. I'm actually entering my last 5 months at school, which is absolutely crazy. And obviously that then means that the majority of my year group are gonna go off to university, which is gonna be a huge dynamic shift in our friendship group, in our lives. Like, everybody's going to be living in different parts of the country. I'm not too sure what I'm going to be doing, so it's going to be massively different, but I'm excited to see what happens. And I think the people that are my real friends and the people that I know I care about a lot, we will still see each other, so I don't think it's going to be an issue. We're not 12, we're going to be old enough and mature enough to travel around to see our friends if we want to stay in touch with them, and I'm excited to see what it brings. I'm very, very nervous, and it makes me very scared to sit and think about it, and if I think about it for too long I work myself up a lot because it panics me. But on the whole, I'm excited for what this year will bring, because we're all about to enter the actual adult world, and I'm scared, but I'm excited because I feel like I've been ready for this for a long time, and I'm quite done with school. They're basically the goals I'm setting myself for this year: hit 100,000 subscribers, buy a car, continue being happy. I always enjoy doing things for other people. That is not what I'm saying. I'm not being like really selfish and like, oh, I just want to do things for me. But like, every now and then you have to think about what you want and like put yourself first. And in year 12, I feel like I did that a lot less than what I do now, and I feel better for it. I don't know if that is selfish. If it is, then maybe I am. And then also just like not panic about the future as much, which is so difficult, but I want to just like see what happens and like be a lot more calm with it. So 2018, hopefully something will sort itself out and I will just be chill with it. That is what I'm hoping. So Molly, at the end of 2018, when you're watching this, hopefully you're sat somewhere thinking, yeah, you know, I'm happy with this decision. So now, before we like end the video, I just kind of want to reflect on my 2017, because I was going to make like a video montage, but I have filmed so much content throughout 2017 that it would have taken me since November to put a video montage together, because I have vlogged almost every single day. Because I weekly vlog, there are only like, it's only Sundays that I don't film. So if you think about that in terms of a year, that's probably like 300 days of the year that I filmed, and I can't pick the best bits out of that because there are so many. So I'm just gonna go methodically through the month. I'm gonna do this from the top of my head because I haven't sat and thought about this. I'm just gonna think about what I remember as being the highlights of those months. So January, I remember, was really exciting because me and my best friend Liv, so you guys know Liv, we went to an event with Go Glam, and it was a massive red carpet gala, and it was in, oh, where were we? Westminster, I think. And we got really dressed up and we had a really nice night, and I just remember thinking, why am I in a room with all of these people that are like really successful, creative, unique influencers, and then me and Liv, who are like 5 years younger than everybody else. But that was definitely a highlight of January, because I just remember being so happy, and like, I don't know why I got invited, but I'm so grateful. So that was a highlight of January, definitely. Okay, so also in January, Liv and I actually went on a weekend away to Brighton. I surprised her for her 17th birthday, and we stayed in the Premier Inn, and we just had like such a laugh. It was such a good weekend. I'd been to Brighton twice before, but never on my own. It is a very long way from where I live. So I remember traveling for like 5.5 hours, but it was totally worth it because we had such a good time. We went for a really nice meal at GBK, and I just remember loving it. February, I think, was probably one of my favourite months of the year, because that is when Tom and I officially got together. So if you didn't know, Tom and I, we've been like on and off since like July the year before. We officially got together on Valentine's Day last year, so I'm so excited. It's coming up to 1 year. It feels like longer, but it also has gone so quick. So that was definitely a highlight of 2017 without a doubt. Also in February, I actually went to Vienna with my mum. We went on like a weekend trip to Austria, kind of for her birthday, and that was really nice. It was so last minute. We just decided that we were going to go to Austria, and I was like, yeah, look, I've booked us some flights, we're going to Austria. That was really nice. I've never been before, didn't know anything about it. I can't tell if I'm out of focus. March, I'm pretty sure in March Lizzie came to stay, and we had a really nice like photography day out in Beverley. It was the first time she'd ever come up to Beverley before, and that was really fun. I'm trying to think if I went to any events or anything iconic happened in March. I'm just gonna get my phone. So in March, not really much else happened. I actually went to an event with The Body Shop for Mother's Day. They did a Mother's Day launch, and I actually got to bring my mum to that, which was really cool. And I just remember meeting with loads of bloggers, and the reason that I loved that was because it was actually in Leeds, and all events are always in London, and as I've just said, London is so far for me to get to, so it being in Leeds was really cool. So April was one of my favourite months of the year. I say favourite months, it actually wasn't because I had exams and stuff, but like it was a good month of the year because it was the month that I saw Ed Sheeran. Me and my friend Gabby actually saw Ed Sheeran live at Manchester, and it was probably one of my highlights of the year. I have loved Ed Sheeran since like a long time, since I was probably in like year 7 or 8. I wasn't one of his OG fans, but I was like an early fan. So for me to get tickets to go and see him, absolutely, like it was just amazing. It was so good. If you ever like even just like 1 or 2 of his songs, I think you should see him in concert because he is so talented. He is like, I just can't, he has so much talent, I literally can't. Also in April, me and my friend Katie also saw Shawn Mendes. I had a very concert orientated month in April, and we saw Shawn Mendes again at Manchester, and he is one of my favourite human beings, not because of how he looks, that is a contributing factor, but he is incredibly talented, and I think that, like, opinions aside on his music, whether you like him or not, he is one of the most humble musicians I have ever met. You could tell when he was in concert that he was so taken back by the fact that he had filled the arena, and it was like, when he played it, it was the biggest crowd he'd ever played to, and he was so shocked and like grateful. You could just tell. Ed Sheeran and Shawn Mendes made my April, and that was such a good month for me. Now May was obviously filled with exams. I did have my AS exams, but I also had a really nice month aside from them. So I actually was working with Wella Shockwaves at the time that the new Baywatch film came out, which was in May, and I hadn't seen the original Baywatch stuff, but I was quite heavily involved in the launch of this film. So when it launched, I got to go to the pre-screening in London, which was like the press night, and that was really cool. It was at the Mayfair Hotel in London, so I just felt like an actual princess. It was so nice, and yeah, that was a really fun day. And then I stayed the night in London that night, and the next day Liv and I had like a nice afternoon in, I want to say Green Park or Hyde Park, one of the parks. It was so freaking warm. I actually did a story time about this day because I just had an actual nightmare on that day, but it was so funny. Looking back at it now, it was definitely one of the highlights of my May. But the real highlight of my May, and possibly my favourite day of the year, was when me and my friendship group from school actually went to Big Weekend. Now if you don't know what this is, Radio 1 put on a massive concert once a year, and it's always in a different location, and in 2017 Hull was the UK City of Culture. Now you're probably sick of me mentioning that because I think I've said it in like every other vlog, but that meant that we got to host the Big Weekend for 2017, and me and my friends all got tickets. We went, and it was just such an amazing day. The weather was amazing, we all had glitter like on our faces. We went out at like 9:30 in the morning, and we got back at like 11:30, and we saw like Shawn Mendes, Little Mix, I'm forgetting who we saw now, basically everybody. I'll put some pictures on the screen of all of these things I've talked about, but yeah, that was just one of the actual best days because I think like nearly all of my friends went to that, and I think it was possibly my favourite day of the year. I just remember being so happy the whole day. Now in June, actually this was my full exam month, so I don't have that many memories from June that were amazing, but I did actually go to the One Love Manchester benefit concert. Now obviously that was not an event that should have needed to happen, and I am sad that like I went to it because it happened, but the fact that I went, it was a really lovely and humbling experience. And I actually went with my friend Eve Bennett. I'm sure you guys know Eve. And it was very last minute because Ariana obviously organised it very quickly, and it was so difficult to get tickets to, but Eve and I were really lucky in that one of you guys actually had bought too many tickets, so then sold the tickets to me and Eve and allowed us to meet in Manchester. I've probably never seen more people perform live than that day, and it was such a weird experience of emotions. It was like really happy, enjoying a concert and then remembering why you're there, and it was such a humbling experience, but I did enjoy it. So that was the only highlight of June that I can think of, to be honest. In July, I actually did my work experience down in London for a week. Now the work experience itself I didn't really enjoy, but I did enjoy the time in London that I spent, because I spent half the week staying with my dad, who at the time worked down in London. And I spent the other half of the week staying with Liv, and that was the first time I'd stayed at Liv's house, and it was just a really, really nice time. And we went to Greenwich, and that was the first time I'd ever been to Greenwich, and I think some of you guys might remember the photos that I'd taken, because I Instagrammed them to death. So that was probably one of my favourite nights of the year as well, just because we spent the evening out in Greenwich until it got dark, and then we got the bus back to Liv's house, and it was just really cool. Like I'd never really done not central London before, and I really enjoyed it, and we danced to Dua Lipa in the kitchen, and it was just such a good night. And looking back at it now, I really enjoyed those like 2-night sleepovers that we had. It was just really good. Also in July, Tom and I went on our first like little mini break away together, and we actually went to Edinburgh. Now I had never been to Scotland before, but I really enjoyed it. I don't think I could live there, because the constant playing of the bagpipes did drive me insane, but I absolutely loved Edinburgh as a city, and I loved the time away with Tom. It's rare that we get to spend like 2 consecutive days like fully together, because we're both such busy people, and I think we were there for 3 days actually. Yeah, we were, and it was just really lovely, and it's definitely something I will remember forever. And yeah, I would like to go back to Edinburgh at some point. Now August is definitely, it has one highlight like screaming out at me, and that is summer in the city. I went to summer in the city last year, and it was good, but not as many people went, whereas this year like every single creator ever seemed to go to summer in the city. It was manic. Like literally every single person that I have been friends with online was there. It was like one massive meetup. It was so cool, and I met tons of you guys. In fact, it was absolutely surreal. Like I don't know who vlogged it, but somebody has a clip of me walking in and meeting you guys, and you guys formed a queue. Like that is actually insane. Like literally thinking about it blows my mind. I spent the whole day being like, what is going on? Because I wasn't there as a guest. I'd bought a ticket to go as well. Like Summer in the City didn't invite me. I'm not cool enough to do a meetup, so I was just like walking around. But the amount of you guys that stop to say hello, or you watch my videos, actually blows my mind, because yeah, I can see a number watching these videos, but putting like faces to that number is like surreal, and it always will be, and it was absolutely incredible. And another massive highlight of that was the Studio 71 party that was held at the O2 Arena afterwards, because we weren't initially invited to that, and then we ended up being invited on the day. So I hadn't taken any clothes. I was like, oh brilliant, I don't look ready for a party at all. And we went, and it was just such a good night. Also in August, I actually went to Spain with my family, which was really cool. I'd never been to Benalmádena before. I still don't know how you say that. Like, I have no idea how you say that. So I'm gonna insert some pictures because it was really nice. Then in September, a couple of cool things happened. So the first was I actually launched my merch. So if you guys want to buy my merchandise, there is always a link in the description. But that launched in September, which is gonna be forever crazy to me. Also in September, I went camping with my friends. Now the actual experience of camping itself I did not enjoy. Something I am very proud of in September is that I actually drove to camping. Like, it sounds so small, but it was about an hour and a half away, and I'd never driven outside of Beverley really before. Like, Beverley is my town that I live in, and I've driven like to Hull and stuff, but I'd never driven outside of like where I live. So I drove to Pickering, which is about an hour and a half from me, and I took a car full of my friends, and I was like, right, yeah, let's go. And I was so nervous, but I got there and back successfully, and I'm so proud. Also in September, I was really kindly invited to the Zoella Winter Wonderland launch, which is so surreal and weird to me, because I have been a fan of Zoella's videos since I was about 13 or 12, and then to get an invite through in August being like, hey, do you want to come to my Winter Wonderland launch? I mean, my 13-year-old self would have been like exploding at that. So I was so happy and lucky that I got to do that with all of my friends. September was quite a busy month actually. I'm looking through my phone. I also went to London Fashion Week for the 2nd year in a row. Last year I actually went with my friend Izzy from school, and then this year they'd invited quite a lot of YouTuber and blogger people, so I actually went to that in collaboration with the blogger program, which I've actually been part of for years now. So that was really cool, and we got to watch them walk the catwalk in, oh, I can't remember which part of London we were in. We were somewhere near Covent Garden, and I can't remember where it was, but it was a really cool building, and it was so nice to watch a catwalk. It was just really fun. So then we move on to October. October was probably the best month I have ever had. I think that can stand alone. October was the best month. So at the beginning of the month, my friend Liv surprised me with a weekend break in London, which was incredible. Then shortly after that, I had my 18th birthday party where I invited all of my friends from school, all of my friends from YouTube, and everybody came together, and I was so nervous that it wouldn't work, but like I think I pulled it off. I hope, fingers crossed, that people had a good time. I had a good time, and I was just so happy to see all of the people I love and care about in one room. It was so weird for me, and that will never happen again unless I get like married or something, but you know, not anytime soon. Tom and I also then spent the weekend after my birthday in London, and you might have seen that we went up the Shard, which is something that I've wanted to do ever since I fell in love with London. The first time I went and properly fell in love with it, I was actually 13, and I thought I really want to go up the Shard, but I'm scared of heights. So we did it. I got over my fear, and I had one of my first legal drinks at the top of the Shard, and then Tom surprised me with a meal that he had booked, and it was just such a lovely trip, despite the fact that Tom was actually really ill. The highlight of my October, the highlight of my year, was when me, Eve and Liv went to New York. Now I'm sure loads of you have seen the vlogs, but this was the best thing that I've probably ever done, because at the beginning of the year, Eve and I made a chart and we added Liv into it, and we were like, look, we want to go to New York. We don't know how the heck we're going to make this happen. It is expensive and we're all underage, but we're going to go to New York. So we're like, okay, so we all saved up. I was the like legal adult, which was weird because I was the only one that was 18, so I had to book it all and everything, which totally stressed me out. But I now know that I can successfully book flights, book a hotel, book airport stuff that you have to sort out, like planes and that. Cool. And get myself from England to America completely on my own, and I think that is mad. Like, I still feel like I'm 12, but I took myself from my house to JFK airport without getting lost, and that is just mad to me. So like, yeah, I'm so happy that we did it. The week that we were there was incredible. We did everything that we wanted to do. We didn't miss anything out. The only thing we didn't get to do was the Statue of Liberty, and that is literally it. We managed every single other tourist attraction, building. I'm just grateful that I got to have that experience, especially with those two girls who I love and don't see as often as I would like to. So the whole week was just absolutely incredible, and I did not want to leave. Although I think if I'd have stayed, I would have actually broke my bank account, so it's a good job I did come home. So November, we're pretty much up to date now almost.
You missed out talking about 18 presents.
Oh yeah, I did. Do you want me to add that in? In November, I actually saw Harry Styles live, which was amazing. Lizzie and I went to Manchester, and we were really lucky that we managed to get tickets to his venue that was only 3,000 people, so the capacity was tiny. We got standing tickets, and we actually made friends with some really lovely people from Ireland. So if you guys happen to be watching this video, hello, thank you for making our night. It was amazing. We actually ended up really close to the barrier. Like, we were, I mean, we weren't really close, but like that was the closest I'd ever been at a concert. And also, Harry Styles is one, a gorgeous human being, and two, an amazing artist. I have a Tom sat over there who's now swearing at me, but he is so good looking and he's so talented, and it was an amazing night. And then afterwards, Lizzie came back for a sleepover, and it was just really fun, and it's definitely up there with one of the best days of the year. A lot of my favourite days are to do with concerts, aren't they? Also in November, I actually went to London with my best friend Erin. Now, Erin and I have been best friends since we were literally 4, and for my birthday she surprised me with a trip down to London and a trip to the planetarium, which I'd never been to. So I've already mentioned how much I love Greenwich, but we went to Greenwich and we went shopping, and we went to the planetarium and watched this display of like planet things, and it was so cool, and I absolutely love Erin, so it was such a good day out. So that brings us to December, and December I feel like I don't need to talk about because I did Vlogmas and you guys saw pretty much everything I did in December. But my absolute highlight probably has to be the day that Tom and I gave our Christmas presents to each other. Obviously we've been together for almost a year, but we'd never spent a Christmas together before, and I was so excited to give him his presents that I had been buying them since August. So I was like, I was ready, you know? So that was probably one of my highlights. Obviously Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, all of the other Christmas days were amazing, but that was probably one of my favourites. I'm pretty happy with those like highlights of 2017. Looking back, I've had some amazing experiences, and I just want to thank you guys for making almost all of those happen. Like, a lot of those experiences are because of you guys, and it absolutely blows my mind, and I'm gonna sit here and sound a little bit sad, that a couple of years ago I didn't even know Liv and Eve, and then this year we went to New York together. I used to be such an avid viewer of Eve's videos. Like, if you guys have watched for a long time, you'll remember that. And then the fact that now we've been to New York together, it's just mad to me how this whole YouTube thing has literally changed my life. So I just want to say thank you. I'm so grateful, and I hope that you guys are going to keep wanting to watch in 2018. So I'm excited to see what it brings and what I'm going to do and what's going to change, and hopefully you guys will be following that through watching this. My battery is flashing. I'm gonna go. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you're not already. But yeah, basically my memory card just got full, so I'm gonna go now. Give this video a thumbs up if you have enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're not already, and I will see you all on Saturday with the first weekly vlog of 2018. So I hope you're all excited, and I will see you then. Bye!